Hello, hello, hello. I am Eliza Boone Robinson, and this is our inaugural gathering of the Virtual Center for Divine Awakening. We're calling it actually the Center for Divine Awakening, but as we kick it off, we're using the word virtual in order to be really clear that we're not a brick and mortar. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about my idea, my vision, the inspiration behind the Virtual Center for Divine Awakening. I'm going to be offering you an invitation to join and to play. And also, if you decide to join as a member, and especially a founder member, then we will be asking for some input really to create this, co-create this into a virtual community that is spiritually, principally based, all about the awakening process, and that's for you. I have a download, but part of that download of my vision for what this can be is that it is community, that it's not just only me talking to you, but that we are in communication and we are in community. We are in this really together. So, my page disappeared. Here, let me just go over here. Thank you very much. So, the Virtual Center for Divine Awakening, to me, it's such a divine idea. I would just invite you to be with me energetically as well as listening to the sound of my voice, but just to feel the energy and feel the possibilities. Some of you know me quite well, others of you don't know me at all, but this is something that has been brewing in me for quite some time. A divine idea, I believe it's a divine idea, and it is really about support, consistent structure for your spiritual journey. So the question really as we begin is, are you yearning for a deeper connection? Are you seeking more purpose, more passion, more clarity, more confidence, more connection? Are you feeling like there's, more? Many clients and many of the people that I would imagine that are going to be coming into this community at some level are successful professionals, and they've reached a certain level of success or a certain stage in their life where it looks like everything is perfect. It looks like everything they've got off. And yet what I find is there's this inner harboring, there's this inner yearning, there's either a statement that says, well, is this all there is? Or I know I'm made for more. There's something a little bit black. So perhaps you are wondering if this is all there is, or you know that there's more. We're also looking for or finding, what I'm finding is people are desiring a consistent structured approach. Consistent structure support on the spiritual journey. You know that I'm an ordained unity minister, and I served in church ministry since the year 2000. Actually served before that, but I was ordained in 2000, served in church ministry until 2015. I have a great calling into ministry that I like to share, but what's even more interesting to me now is not the call into ministry, but the call out of ministry. And I actually received a call out of ministry twice. First time it sent me on a spiritual journey that blew my heart wide open and restructured every brain cell in my being and changed my whole way of being on the planet. I call it, my spiritual initiation. And that was a lot of awakening work. And during that time period, which I'll talk more about, over the course of the next few weeks and months and years even, I was downloaded a system, gently, quickly, and easily dissolves and dismantles lifelong limiting patterns. Shatter invisible glass ceilings. It can go straight to the core of some of the things that we live with, our unworthiness, or I'm not good enough, or this isn't, it's not working for me, or I'm unlovable, or those things that we seem to carry as human beings. That given goes right down into the core of that. We can lift that out, we can transcend it, and we can replace it with that which is a greater truth. Greater truth is we are spiritual beings having spiritual experience. We are one. We are one with our high self, with that which we call spirit, or source, creation, or God, or whatever language you use. We have access to everything our heart desires. We have the technology, and I don't mean computers or cell phones, I mean spiritual technology, the lives we want. And we're now giving access, we've been given access to realize our oneness. We call this awakening. Awakening is coming into the awareness that we are one with all that is. Fully awaken. I want you to lean into this. When we awaken, when we fully awaken, we will see the world different. Humanity fully awakens, the world will be different. I believe that this is not only our calling, responsibility to step into this level of awakening, because when we do it, we will transcend fear. When we come into a full awakening, there will be no more war, hatred, or violence. It happens to be the 5th of November in 2017, and there was a shooting in Texas today. Some random person with an automatic, whatever they call those automatics, went and shot a bunch of people in a church. This is not the planet that I want to see. There is another way, and it comes from awakening, and it embodies, as a result of awakening, love, passion, and kindness, connection. It's actually said that a person's deepest yearning, their deepest need is for connection. There's science now that says even addiction, drug addiction and alcohol addiction and those types of addiction stem from a desire for connection. And what I know to be true is a connection with each other is hugely important. That isn't enough sometimes. We need that connection to spirit, that connection to our own self, to that which is us, that is greater than us. And so through the course of my lifetime, through the course of my awakening journey, I started my spiritual journey when I was a kid of 18 years old. I've stepped onto my path, and I've never left. My whole life, my whole purpose, really, in so many ways. And my stand right now, so I can tear up when I talk about it, because it's so in the core of my being. And my stand is for the world awakening. I used to be like, well, I want to awaken, and I want the people around me to awaken. I want my clients and my friends to awaken, but that's not enough. Our world is crazy. We're being called to do the work of awakening. The idea of divine awakening, back in 2007, and I created an alternative ministry, which is a part of the Unity Worldwide Ministerial Association. And it is certified, and it's a nonprofit, and it has served for 10 years in a variety of ways. In the beginning, it was all about my divine feminine work and my priestess work and my goddess work. And then it became When I was in different ministries, it became my consulting work. It became my spiritual discernment work. It became the work that I just republished in a different format this week on Amazon as an ebook, What is Mine to Do? A Guided Process for Spiritual Discernment. It became all of that. It recently, in the last few years, 2 years since I left church ministry for the last time, has become so curious that the name came 10 years ago, and now it's become really my life purpose. I've been given the gifts, I've been given the tools, I've been given the mission, boldly together with others who are doing it. Awakening of the planet, to stand for love, no matter what, to stand for kindness, no matter what, to stand for equality, no matter what, to stand for of humanity, no matter what. I used to think awakening was like a mystical moment and a moment in time and a destination, which it was many, many, many times. But once it hit many, many, many times, I started to think, wait, maybe it's not just that moment. Because for me, I would have an awakening moment. I would burst wide open and land in this place of absolute bliss. And I would think, I made it, I got there, yeah, this is wonderful. Like about 30 minutes or 30 days or 3 days later, kaboom. Because what I've discovered, looking back, is every time you touch that place of awakening, the next level, the next layer, the next expansion of awakening, love, or of bliss, or of awareness, it's building a new place in your consciousness. We're actually building new neural pathways. We're entering into new dimensions in consciousness, actually. Touch, especially if it's a leap, a quantum leap up, unlike that, has to come up for clearing, for surrendering, for processing. Land in a place of absolute love. Bask in that for as long as you can. Then something unlike love shows up in your face. Oh, now I get to process this. Now I get to work this. Now I get to surrender this. And that is the work that I'm bringing to the planet, is that work. I think I said work like 9 times in that sentence. It's the hardest work you've ever done, and it's the fulfillment and the payoff is beyond anything you can ever imagine. Some of you have done work with me, and you know the experience. Some of you are beginning work. Some of you have been with me for a long time, and you know that every time we anchor in that heart space, every time we anchor in the quantum field, into that place of oneness, everything can change. That's not the work. The work then becomes sustaining that. Back to it again and again and again through your spiritual practice, through your meditation work, through your surrender work, through grappling with all the things that we see that feel unlike what we want it to be, or unlike love, or unlike joy, or peace, or expansion. All that comes up where you're surrendering. And so what I know to be true is there's a lot of people on the planet right now who are really isolated, who are feeling really alone in their spiritual journey. What I know to be true is there's a lot of people who want consistent spiritual connection, but they don't want to do a church, even a unity church or a new thought church anymore. So this idea that's been given to me, it actually was given to me as a virtual center way back in January. So it's taken me, it's a long pregnancy, the 9 months and now the 11 months to really bring it into form. And some of the languaging I'm using around it is a non-church. It's not a church. It is a virtual ministry. It is more than that, less than that, different than that. It is a virtual spiritual community. My vision is, I'm getting some weird sounds, so I'm going to see if I can, or if you can mute yourselves, that would be great, because there's a little background noise, and maybe it's in me. Hopefully not. Is it in me? Hopefully not. So my vision includes this. My vision includes a weekly, yikes, I feel like that's a huge commitment on my part, but a weekly talk, so to speak. What I miss most from being in ministry is preparing weekly talks. What I miss most is working with the community over time, building connection and relationship, and also sort of taking the bridge. I've done a lot of Facebook Lives over the past couple of years, similar to that, but consistent. So we'll be building on each other. We'll be at a consistent time and space. It will be live on Zoom. So we'll have like a talk, and then we'll stop the recording, and then we'll have discussion. So if you actually can be live on the call, live in the group, we can have face-to-face discussion. You can ask your questions. You can give your input. You can connect not only with me, but with each other. And I think that's going to be just really, really, really rich. We'll also have the recording of that. I envision that coming out and becoming a podcast, or becoming something people subscribe to. Imagine that going across the planet. I remember one time back in around 2008 or 9 or something like that, I was serving in a ministry in Austin, Texas, and we were audio recording talks at that time, and we had a sound person who was fairly savvy on the internet, and somehow he got us on iTunes or something, a podcast on iTunes, something or other. And one day he came into my office, he goes, I just want to show you this report. And then we were getting like 1,300 listeners to that every single week, or maybe it was month. It was maybe month. But like new people were listening to that. Our congregation was 75, 80 people. So to go from 75, 80 people, even 100, right, to 1,300, it blew my mind. And it landed a seed in me way back then that said, there will be a time where the message that comes through me, I don't want to say my message, because I really feel like this is my gift to the world. It's not mine. It's coming through me to the world. And I feel like this is a possibility. Now, the next layer of that is to become, or consider becoming, or a possibility of becoming a member in the Center for Divine Awakening. I've got a special going right now on founding members, but what a member would receive is, and I'm picturing this, not like 5 of us, like there's 5 of us on the call, right? But like 100 or 200 or 300 or 500. It's the members would get each of the talks, whether they were live or not, invited always live. They would get all of the recordings. Once a month, we would do a class. It would be probably an hour-long class where it's not so much a talk, but a teaching and real practical spiritual principles that we will be talking about. And then we might even look at different ways to set that up, but we'll be getting some input on, if we want to theme that or wants to be a different theme each month. And also a monthly and perhaps even weekly meditation. And again, that's offered live. You can come live, which is always best, and you'll get the recording. And that'll be just for members. And the member price right now, so can you feel like this might even be interesting to you? Can you feel like, oh my God, this is like totally filling a need I didn't even know I had, or maybe a need I knew I had, right? So I've opened this up just for the month of November to create a founder's circle. And a couple of people already committed to the founder system circle, but we're open to as many people as want to gather. The founder circle is the opportunity to be in from the beginning, to receive and to give input, and to really be a part of this inner circle. Oh, we're also going to, the members, all 100 or 2 or 3 or 1,000, will end up in a Facebook page or a Facebook group where we can be in communication, and there'll be that's where all the report, all that stuff. Anyway, that doesn't matter so much right now. So I opened it up. Founders Circle, $27 a month. Like, I'm saying that to you, I'm going, seriously? $27 a month? You get 4 or 5 talks. You get an hour-long class, which independently sells for $47. You get a meditation, which is usually $25. And you get support, right? You get a community. And so I'm feeling really excited about the possibility, but I need your help. And so that's part of the reason I'm offering founder circles. It's such an incredible place. Members will be 47. So even that is an incredible deal and steal. But as we get going, I'm going to go ahead and start the talks now, even if we only have 3 members. I'm going to start them every week. This kind of starts as number 1, even though it's more introduction, right? So next Sunday, and we'll figure out the time within the circle of the founders, every single week, and start building our library and building an energy and building a container within that. It's something totally important to say right about that right there. Yeah, just a few less lattes, right? That's right. So founding members, and then I envision also another layer of that, which would be, I don't know if I call it a mastermind, but kind of a mastermind where there would actually be live coaching and a group that would be a quarterly thing. So you can join for a quarter or a year or 2 years or forever, but we'd open it up every quarter for new people. So it's a huge vision for me. Oh, I know what I was going to say, what I was trying to say is, but I need support. I need the first few people then to help me get it out. It's virtual, so it can go all across the world. The more that we gather energy, especially within the founder circle, the more resonance that we have, the more presence that we have, and then we can begin to really open it up. So November is getting us started. November is really starting the gathering. I'll be asking you, if you choose to be a founding member, what is it that you really want to hear about? What is it you want to discuss? What is it you want to lean into? What are the places in you that you're yearning, that you're wanting more, or to figure out, or to sort through? Where is it that you would love to explore? I've been doing some phenomenal reading recently. It's like I can imagine bringing even a book theme in for a while, a few weeks here or a month here, or lots of different possibilities for the entire group, really leaning into the power of the community, right? And the power of the community is you. Because I was talking to my friend here who just popped on earlier today, and I was saying, I can talk to myself all day long, but I kind of want to talk to, people, like real people, like you, and to be in communication around that. And so that's why at the end of the talks, we'll open it up for discussion. We'll stop the recording. I already said that, but we'll stop the recording so the discussions aren't so much recorded or won't go out to the podcast or whatever that is, mostly the talk. And we'll see how that goes. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to ideas. I'm open to finessing the ideas I have, really guided by spirit, really allowing spirit to flow in and through us. And so that I kind of shared a whole lot there. What I would love to do is just hear from a couple of you, if you're willing, what's moving in you? Does this sound interesting to you? What would make it more interesting? Is it intriguing? What's happening in and through you? Hello. Yes.
Hello.
What do you
Can
think?
you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I love the concept of being in a circle, the founders circle. I just think that's really cool. I get a lot of energy off of that, and find it to be a fun concept. Um, I'm in, so I think it's very cool, and I don't know exactly what that means yet. I don't know, haven't given a lot of thought about what I want to um, achieve out of it, other than community is probably my primary uh, initiation point. It's what drives me. So look to build community in a variety of ways, and this is one more way, in a way that you can connect with people. It's more than just superficial, I would think,
Yeah,
over time. So,
totally cool.
my 2 cents worth for the moment.
Okay, hey, it works. Cool. Thanks. Becky, can I hear you? Or Michaela?
I was asking Michaela if she would like to share anything on the younger. I want to see some of the younger generation get involved. And her best friend, I've been talking to her this week, and she was very fascinated, and she's ready. And I'm hoping to get her and her mother involved. But for me, I've lived my whole life in isolation. No community. I don't have access to a Unity Church here, as you very well know. So, yes, community, spiritual growth, sharing. And you mentioned books. I've read several books, as I'm sure all of you have, and have a book theme night and books that we've already read, what we've learned, what we gained, the books that we recommend. You and I messaged this morning on the new book that I started, which I think it sounds exactly like you. It sounds like you wrote the book. And, world events, like you mentioned earlier, the shooting in Texas, and how do we as an individual process some of the world events? How do we lean into it? Healing meditations, do a group meditation on those who are suffering from the shootings, the hurricanes, the other things that are going on in the world. A guide meditation.
Yeah.
I think for this amazing for me to see that.
Hey, Michaela, can you lean into the mic just a little bit? I'm having a little hard time.
I'm soft-spoken a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
I think it's amazing to me to see, as far as I know, it's a lot of the younger generation that is a lot more open-minded and accepting of these views. Where we live here in Arkansas, people, older generations, are not really receiving of these kind of ideas. So I think it's a neat way that you can bring in all varieties of people and see that, there is a very big connection out there, even if it's sometimes, like you mentioned before, it feels like you're alone in your beliefs and your view on the world, and how we do want to help the world. We have such a calling, and I think that is really neat. And for me, I think what's really important for the younger generation is we need help positively expressing ourselves. And I think this is something that could really help. I know, like my friends, I have a lot of personal things that for a while they have felt ashamed of. And I'm trying to help them to realize that, nobody is alone. We're all on our own path to growth. And I think it really helps to talk to people to realize that, you're not alone. And people aren't as judgmental, as it seems. There's a lot of people that are really just receiving and loving.
Right. Right. Yeah. And you speak, for all of us. And I love the voice of the younger generation. And I'm glad to hear that your younger generation feels more open. Right? Because the more it's like as we're getting more and more open, the pathways are opening.
Yeah, I think Liza knows grandma, right? So, I have my grandma and my mom and me, and I'm passing all this on to my daughters. And so, I like to think that, from before birth, my daughter has received, this spiritual information, and, I feel that way with having my mom and my grandma. I've kind of been brought up around this, and, I've always been taught to be very open-minded and not judgmental of anybody's beliefs. And I think the more I open up to my friends and people around me, the more I'm realizing that people listen. They do. You get to feeling alone when you don't communicate, but if you do, people, they're actually pretty receiving. And I think that's what I'm kind of helping my mom to see. She feels, from her generation, more like she's been alone in her beliefs and she hasn't had anybody to talk to. And I'm more like, I can tell my friends what I believe in, and they may not believe the same as me, but they're like, that's a neat point of view. And I think that's the biggest thing, is bringing all these different ideas together. That I think it really helps people, to see that, you find your own truth through other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this idea looks like a good idea to you as well, and something that your generation might be, it would be an easy way perhaps for your generation to get this type of awareness through the internet, through a virtual community.
I think, it serves many purposes.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Thanks. I'm really glad you're here tonight. It's really great to meet you.
Me too. This time change is throwing me off a little bit, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I was on Central yesterday, Pacific yesterday, and now Mountain today.
You'll probably just be up all night, huh? Just reset tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Nancy, do you have input? How's it moving in you?
Okay. When I started this, and you know that I've somewhere along the line have joined in on many of your journeys. And I started off by going, yeah, well, what the hell? And going, I don't know if I have that need. I'm not sure that's where I'm at right now. I wrote it all down just in saying, oh, it's a good idea, but do I want to take on another weekly? So the yada yadas were coming out. And then, and of course, Steve jumps. He just dives off the diving board, which is why I'm with him. And then I heard Michaela talk, and I've had a lot of conversations recently with younger people who are they're trying to figure out how to create this venue themselves. They're trying to figure out how to get groups together to have these conversations because they don't fit anymore into the old structures. And Michaela, some of us who are a great deal older than you have never fit into these structures, and we're lucky enough to find people along the way who showed us new thoughts and opened up entire worlds to us. After I heard Michaela talk, I thought, I'm in because of people like Michaela. And I'm not trying to put pressure on you for doing this, but some of us, our goal and our hearts and our purpose is to, it's not only awakening within ourselves, but it is a planetary, it's for my grandson, your daughter, grandchildren. We can't do it for them, but we can be the container that holds the energy for this to unfold, whatever this is supposed to be, whatever it looks like. And it'll evolve and change, and it'll be good and tweaked. And but I'm in because of what she said. And I'm not a joiner. You know I'm not a quick joiner.
I know you think you aren't a joiner.
Okay.
But I love that. I love that because, and this is how I feel, you know, when I lean into this, because it's like not coming from my head.
Yeah.
It is touching that place you speak to, that Michaela speaks of, that it's going to take a life of its own. And so to take a stand, oh my goodness, to take a stand for my grandchildren, some of whom are being raised as staunch Baptist.
Yeah.
And for the children that are coming in that are, what are they even called anymore? The crystalline children, or the, you know, it's not even indigo. Probably, Michaela's probably indigo. That's probably the age, right? Are you an indigo child? Yeah, right? So what are the next ones, you know, coming in?
Rainbow and crystals.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Rainbow and crystals.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I'm getting some chills. Love that. Now, Twyla, you kind of jumped in, but you and I were talking earlier, so do you have input based on what you're hearing? Oh, you're muted still.
I was unmuting in the wrong place. Hi, guys. Michaela, I love what you're saying. And just based on what you and I were talking about earlier, Eliza, and I don't know what all I missed, but today the shooting in Texas, you know, being a minister, I'm just speechless with what is going on in our country. So anything that we can do to help awaken, and not to awaken for sure. So I haven't thought about this, so excuse my hesitation. To awaken and to support, whether we awaken or not.
Right. Good point. Right? Because
Yeah, that just, it's not, it doesn't have to be about awakening, but we all need the support.
Yeah.
And not have it be conditional.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And for me, it's about awakening, but yeah, you're right. It's not necessarily everybody, but it is.
That is putting, I'm sorry, that's putting our expectation on someone else, and I can't say what your path is.
Right. But what is universal is love,
Right.
equality, you know, safety, kindness, compassion. Those
Exactly.
qualities, yeah.
And a listening heart for people.
Yeah.
And then they can make their own decisions on what their path needs to be.
Yeah, I love that. That's great input.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I just think of I haven't even reached out to my community this evening. And I was thinking, I don't even know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe it's simply, I'm here, my heart is with yours, let us stand together in love.
right.
Because there's no word for some of the crazy that, I just call it crazy. I don't mean that, diminishing in any way, but it's like the world, what we
The fear,
see.
the fear.
Yeah. So, being aware of time, because I wanted to kind of keep us around 45 minutes, which we are at. I'm just curious, for those of you who are actually here and interested, if there were a weekly talk / discussion, like not the class so much, but the weekly, let's stand in principle, let me present something, let me give you this, let's have conversation about it. Is Sunday evening a good time, or is that like totally bad time? What is a good time, just for those of you who are live on the call? Or if you're watching the recording, send me some ideas, because I'm flexible. My thought process is Sunday evening, because people are winding down from the weekend, getting ready to go in to the week. I didn't want to do Sunday mornings just because I didn't want to do church. I want to do non-church.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really open to seeing what works. And of course the recordings will always be there, but the live, you get the energy fresh, you get the conversation, you get your input, you get your question answered. So what do you think?
This is a good time for me. I don't know about everybody else, but this works good for me.
Michaela?
It works good for me. I do have my baby, and I've got Daddy at home who gets up early in the mornings to go to work. But if she cooperates and goes to bed easily, then I can be down here, and I'm within yelling distance of my mom, so
Yeah.
I can come down here as long as my little one's cooperating.
Yeah. So it's 9 o'clock for Central Time. Is an hour earlier better or worse for you, Michaela?
What time is that?
8.
Starting at 8?
Starting at 8, because Rosalind won't be down. Yeah.
Well, and we don't even have to decide this right now, because it can be fluid and flexible for a while, but just curious.
I don't know, yeah, between 8 and 9 works.
Okay. Steve?
For me, earlier is better. I mean, I up at 5:30 in the morning, and typically, 7 or 8 o'clock would be my preference, but I'm open.
Okay.
7 or 8 Central,
Yeah. Yeah. And Nancy says 8 better than 9. Yeah. And I was even thinking, to go even earlier, 5 o'clock, but that would be, I'm on Mountain Time now, and Arizona's so goofy, I don't know what time it is, but 5 o'clock, but I didn't want to also interfere with dinner hour. I wanted it to kind of, so let's play with, let me play in those times. And my intention is to do one next week, and then I'll send, and it'll be, here's the other intention, and you can help me, support me in this, because ideally I would like to be able to be on live on Facebook, on Zoom, but I looked into that this week, and I'm not ready to invest in that financially quite yet. So I might see if I can get live on my phone and Zoom on I don't know, we'll be playing with that. So, but I would love for you to lean into who you can invite even next week. We'll start with a basic talk, and then we'll open it up for about 15, 20 minutes worth of discussion, and we'll go from there. And week to week for a little while until we get into the groove, we'll be checking in a lot, and if you have something, a topic that you really want to explore, shoot me. You all know how to reach me, so shoot me an email or a message, and here we go. How about that?
Here we go.
And you know that I wouldn't be able to, I would just be popping in.
Yes.
From time to time. By Sunday evening, I'm
That's
pretty spent.
Twyla's done church on Sunday morning. Twyla and I were classmates in seminary and prayer partners and best friends. Some of you have heard me talk about her. And so Twyla meet Nancy, Nancy meet Twyla.
Hi, Nancy and Steve. So,
yeah.
So I just want to let the group know that I'm,
Yeah, thank you for popping in tonight and giving your input. All right, just to check out, how do you feel right now? Are you excited? Are you leaning into what's moving in you? Just a sentence from each of you. And go, Twyla, go ahead and give me a sentence. What feel to you? You don't even know. It doesn't matter.
I'm focused on getting my dinner in the oven. No, but great. And I love the offering. Well, at the beginning of the year, I'm starting three new programs here for me. So, and most of it is about support.
Yeah.
And finding a way to bring a sense of trust and safety to people that feel called to be a part of whatever circle that reaches them.
Yeah.
Strength in numbers.
That's right.
And I also really do Sunday evening for Michaela's age group and younger. It'd be great if that could work, but with kids and, with small children and college students with homework. So I don't want to be a downer because I'm kind of spent. So just those are the things in my head.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. Nancy.
I could feel a little bit of overwhelm in the background trying to nibble at me just based on some of the programs I've kind of committed to. I put enough pressure on myself that I'm not getting them done the way I want to. But, it's not like I don't deal with that all the time. So it's always going to be something.
Right.
And I think I'm a little annoyed at you for reminding me that I don't have a spiritual community right now. So I need to get that off my chest.
Well, as of now, you do have a spiritual community.
Well, I've always been in community with you and a lot of people, but it was that little reminder. It's like, well, I don't know if I missed that. Then it was like, oh, maybe. So I am willing. I'm just willing.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Becky. Or Michaela.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling curious. I think this is, I'm just meeting y'all, and I do feel a connection. Full of curiosity as to where this will go. But I think one thing that's kind of I've been feeling is, we've mentioned that we will talk about worldly problems, and I think it would probably benefit to start maybe even before this or in the group, just kind of protecting our energies, because I think, being a sensitive, sometimes we absorb all of these issues, and we do have such a feeling like we're the ones to fix it. And so I don't want anybody to be overwhelmed by the idea of, such a huge calling.
Mm,
Yeah, great awareness. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. Becky?
I'm just beyond excited. This is what I dreamed of my whole life.
Mm,
I am very, very proud that Michaela's here and that she came tonight. I think she was meant to be here tonight. And I've already got a few things running around in my head that I can message you on some ideas. So I like the idea of group consciousness meditations, specific meditations. Some of the ones that we've already been doing the last couple of weeks, like creating space, the useless and unnecessary suffering. Some of those things that we've already been talking about, I think would be awesome to do in a group meditation. David did one that I really loved, the energy of money. Man, it made me look at that in a whole different perspective. And my work with you so far is getting me to look at things from a different perspective. And so I think that is key. I think that's essential, is to give people different perspectives. Well, what if you look at this way? What if you look at it that way? To get you to kind of shift your awareness. And that's something else. It's helping people to start becoming consciously aware. And once you say to yourself, you know, if you have all that rat race running around in your head, but then you start becoming consciously aware and you tell yourself, oh, stop that. And so I think these are some of I think to help give people the tools that they need to navigate through their lives.
Right. Well, and you know how to reach me, so, you know, make your list. Right?
Right.
Awesome. And Stevie.
Unmute.
Unmute, you're muted.
There we go. Thanks, Nancy, for reminding me that I'm about overwhelmed.
Whoops.
She is right. I mean, we commit to a variety of things. You know, and one is building our online business. Another one is now this community. One is another community that we've committed to for the past couple of quarters, and have some commitment there. And of course, you know, I have my daytime thing, and I didn't really put two and two together, but there is some sense of how do I balance all of that and keep sane and growing at the same time. So yeah, that's looking forward to it, and at the same time.
Well, you know, part of my intention is that I'm going to say it this way, but I'm going to try and re-say it. I don't want this community ever to be like a burden, like one more thing I have to do, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I come to get fed. It's like, I wouldn't miss this for the world. Like, this is my touchstone for the week. And I seriously imagine that this then goes to support all of those other things, especially the businesses that we're all doing, and the things that we're doing that would be so supportive that might even get
Right. Good point. Thank you.
as an intention anyway, right?
Yeah.
All right. I am so appreciative that you were here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and start this first recording in a playlist, I guess. And so I don't know what to do with it. But plan on next Sunday. I'll send you all a private email, and then I'll create another Facebook event and make sure people know about it. But plan on next Sunday somewhere between 7 and 8 and 9, somewhere between 7 and 9 on Sunday Central Time. And be in touch. If you have ideas, if you have thoughts, all that stuff, just all right. So much love. Big hugs. Big hugs.
Okay, bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.